Hey guys, AngryMonkey here with another RetroGameTreasure unboxing video. If you're new to the channel and you're wondering what is RetroGameTreasure, this is a video game subscription service that sends you 3 to 5 games to your house every month to add to your video game collection. This is not a rental service, you get to keep these games. And these games come on a wide variety of different consoles, whether you want to go old school with Atari 2600 or Intellivision. If you're big into Nintendo, there is a lot of Nintendo options for you with the NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Wii U, as well as the portable stuff, the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and 3DS. Plenty of Sega options with the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Dreamcast, and Sega Game Gear. I did not say Saturn, that was on purpose. And also don't expect Sega CD or Dreamcast games in your box, but I have gotten them in my Retro Game Treasure before, so I figured I'd mention it anyway. PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as PlayStation Portable, original Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and some of these Xbox One games are recent enough that they actually do have Xbox Series X on the case, because it's that cross-gen era of the early 2020s. So yeah, you can get stuff going all the way back to 1977, and as recently as like 2022 or something, which is kind of wild to think about getting a game that recent. But last month, I got an Xbox One that has Xbox Series X on there as well, so even as recently as last month, I got one of those. Yeah, so anyway, how this works, go on a website, fill out the survey, and along with the survey, there are two other things that I highly recommend that you fill out, and that is the wish list and the checklist. So the checklist feature is if you're somebody like me who's got like 2,000 video games in their collection, and you don't want to get duplicate games in your box, because when you have 2,000 some games, the chances of getting duplicates is going to be kind of high. But with the checklist feature, you check off all the games that you have in your collection, but you got to make sure you check off all versions of that game. Star Wars Battlefront on PS2 came out on both the standard black label regular version as well as the red label greatest hits version. And in RGT, they are classified as two different games. I mean, they're the same game, but they're classified as two separate games. So it is best to check off that you have both versions of that game to avoid getting duplicates. I also recommend hopping on over to the original Xbox and checking it off on there as well, unless you want it on both consoles, which some people might. Some people might want to have a full PS2 collection and a full original Xbox collection, whereas me, I'm happy with it being on PS2. I'm happy with it being Red Label Greatest Hits. To me, I have a way to play one of the best games on the PS2 on my PS2. So I'm fine with Red Label Greatest Hits, but I checked off that I had the black label as well because I've got it. I don't need a second version. So anyway, take it from me, somebody who has to constantly learn this lesson of, oh, I didn't know that game released on that console, or oops, I forgot to check off that particular version of the game. I didn't know it existed, or I forgot about it, or whatever. So don't be dumb like me, okay? There's also the wish list feature as well, which, if you're a collector, you probably got a lot of games that you want to have in your collection that, oh, that'd be kind of cool to play this game. Don't expect Earthbound, a $300, $350 game in your $40 box. You're not going to get it. I mean, sure, go ahead and put it on there anyway. I got it on mine. But if you just got a Super Nintendo and you want Mario World, or you actually do enjoy the Madden games, or you want Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis or whatever, yeah, those are realistic options that you can get in your box, and you can check those off, and there's a good chance you'd probably get that, because, I mean, there's like a billion copies of all those. But yeah, I got Earthbound on mine. I'm not going to get it, but whatever. And the last thing is, of course, filling out the survey itself. And the survey is the most important thing. With that, you fill out the genres of games that you like to play, whether you're into platformers or shooters, arcade games, RPGs, whatever it is, check what you like, don't check what you don't like, and with that, you can specify that you don't want sports games in your box, because I'm sure most of you guys watching don't want to get Madden 93 on Sega Genesis or something like that. I don't care. I'm not a sports ball guy. There's only a handful of sports ball games that I even remotely care about. Unless it's like Mario Sports, and those games are usually pretty good, especially the GameCube era, but I've gushed over those countless times on this channel. But yeah, check what you like, don't check what you don't like, and that will help RetroGameTreasure build a custom box for you. Even if you and Jim Bob have the same taste in video games, that does not mean that you and Jim Bob are getting the same box, because it is customly built for you, and obviously it depends on what their stock is in their warehouse, or however that works. There's a subcategory as well where you can feel that you like getting Disney games or Pokemon type games and skateboarding and NASCAR and wrestling, whatever it is. Again, check what you like, don't check what you don't like, and that's kind of like a subcategory of, okay, you like these kinds of games, we'll keep that in mind when we build your next box. Obviously the consoles, you can also fill out if you like getting demo discs, or you have a Nintendo Zapper, or the Super Nintendo Super Scope, or whatever it is. You can say, I've got these accessories, and they can send games for those accessories. You can also say that you like getting import games. I've gotten a few Japanese games before, which is fine with me, because depending on the console, I can play it. I can play Famicom games, Super Famicom games, Japanese GameCube games, Game Boy games, because the Game Boy is region free. So there's a lot of games that I can play on my American consoles. Now, my Japanese Biohazard, I probably can't play that on my original PlayStation, but it's kind of cool to get anyway. So yeah, that's another thing. Check what you like, don't check what you don't like. Anyway, let's move on and see what we got in our box. Okay, and first up, as always, we got 4 boys today. We got 4 DiscountAirPillows.com, where pillows are inflated, not prices. Except this guy is not inflated at all. So we have one poor soul who sacrificed everything to make sure that our games are safe. So let's give a salute to our fallen comrade, and this guy is kind of barely hanging on as well. Actually, this is the only one that's like alive. This one's kind of alive, this one's mostly dead, and this one's all dead. There's a difference between mostly dead and all dead. Princess Bride. Alright, anyway, what we got? We got 4 games. One of them is Atari, a PS4, original Xbox, why did I say original Xbox? Xbox One. And the other one is the full length of the box, which in my case would probably be a 360 game. So, let's start off with our Atari game, which is Breakout. Don't I already have this one? Okay, so yes and no to Breakout. I do not have the OG Breakout. I do have Super Breakout for the Atari, and I also have Super Breakout on the 5200. I don't even have a 5200, but I somehow got a 5200 game. Yeah, I guess that's why I never picked this up, because I thought I had it because I have Super Breakout. But yeah, this is one of the like defining games of the Atari 2600 is Breakout. It's pretty cool. It's a classic. I'm just thinking of, wow, I had my Atari for 15 years and never had the original Breakout. That's wild. Anyway, up next we have a PS4 game, which is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I know I have some of the Uncharted games. I'm surprised I don't have this one, though. I'll, again, check my collection. So I've got the Nathan Drake collection. I guess I thought that was the end of Uncharted. But cool, we've got another Uncharted game I didn't know existed. This came out in 2017. I don't know anything about this one. Ooh, that's nice. There's a map. I gotta play the Uncharted games. Like, I know the Nathan Drake games are really good. I've not played them. I mean, I know who he is, and I know is it an opening cutscene of the whole plane or train or something that he's got like a broken arm and he's trying to he got like impaled by a piece of metal, like a pipe or something, and he's trying to like pull himself up from like a plane or a train that's like half off the cliff or something. So I know that scene. I don't know anything about this game. So this is probably a wishlist item. All right. That's exciting. Up next, we got an Xbox One game, and it is Hitman 2. I know that I recently got a Hitman game through RetroGameTreasure, because they sent me a steel case. Okay, this one's complete first season. So this is a different Xbox One game. This came out in 2018. I don't think I have that one because the only other Hitman games I have are like PS2 era. So, yeah, this is exciting. Another Hitman game. From what I've seen, these games are really good. I've not played any of them, but they look really good. They look really interesting and like different ways to like carry out a mission or be a hitman, an unaliver. Yeah. So yeah, that might be a wish list item as well. I mean, so far this is actually a really strong box because I mean, like, you have two games that are probably a wish list item and a classic that I should have had 15 years ago. For the final game, I gotta turn the entire box over. Okay. Didn't look at it. But I can tell by feeling this is definitely a 360 game, and it is Tomb Raider. Complete in box. That's cool. Now, I do have a lot of the Tomb Raider games. Disc is great. I'm kind of surprised I don't have this one. 2012. I'm going to double check this one. Okay, yeah, I don't have it. The Tomb Raider game I was thinking of on 360 was this one. When did this one come out? 2008. Okay. So, that's kind of wild. A 2012 Tomb Raider game. That's like really towards the end of the 360's life because the Xbox One came out in 12 or 13. I just kind of forgot that the 360 did go into the 2010s because I mean it came out in 2005. I mean that was my high school console. So yeah, I thought that I don't know, sometimes you forget on like how things line up and you're thinking like, oh wow, I can't believe that there were still 360 games in 2012. But obviously, yeah, there were because the Xbox One came out in 2012 or 13. I got it for Christmas in 13. Um, Maybe it did come out in 13. Because I got the day one edition of Dead Rising 3 for my Xbox One. So yeah, maybe it did come out in 13. Okay, well, in that case, that makes sense. I guess I just kind of wasn't buying a lot of 360 games in 2012 because most of the 360 games that were coming out at that era were the Xbox Connect games. Anyway, this was a really good box. I mean, I don't think Breakout would be a pick of the box just because it's an Atari game. I mean, it is a classic, but I wouldn't call that a pick of the box. But any of these other three are easy pick of the boxes. This was a strong box. This is probably one of the strongest boxes I've had in a while. Very excited. Before ending this section, this is talking about the Boss Chest giveaway. The Boss Chest giveaway is a really cool thing where you are, as the name implies, a giveaway. Take a picture of your box, post it on social media, and you're entered to the Boss Chest giveaway, which you could potentially win a new to you game console. When I first signed up for RGT back in 2019, the Boss Chest giveaway item was a second Master System, which was really exciting because I didn't have a Master System at that time. So that was a potential way for me to get one. Now, since then, I've gotten a Master System, so whatever. But I do remember a Sega Genesis being a Boss Chest giveaway item. I remember a PS1 being a Boss Chest giveaway item. I don't know how frequently they do Boss Chest giveaways, if it's like once a month, once a year, whatever it is, I don't know. But it is a way to potentially win a new game console, and then, think about this, using RetroGameTreasure to start getting games for the console that you won, which, that would be really cool, especially, like, think about it. You get, like, a PS1, and then you get, like, Metal Gear Solid in your box. I doubt it, that's probably too expensive, but maybe, I don't know. Just imagine that. That'd be so cool. So anyway, yeah, do the Boss Chest giveaway. I have a link in the description below for RetroGameTreasure. If you want to get a box like this, like mine, I have my personal referral code, and if I get 3 people to use my referral code, I will get a free box, which means a double unboxing, which would be really fun to have happen once. I've never had that happen, and I think that'd be really cool to have happen once. So, help a brother out. I just need 3 of you. And I think that'd be really cool to do a double unboxing. But anyway, that does it for the Retro Game Treasure section of the video. But we are not done with the video yet because I've got some really cool pickups. I went on vacation, and I got some pretty cool stuff there. So I want to show off what I got on my little vacation. Okay, so I got some pretty good pickups to show off. The first thing I want to show off is a couple pre-orders from GameStop. Now, this one I don't really know much about. I just hear it's really funny, and it's kind of, I mean, it sounds like a quick game, but it sounds like there's, I don't know, it just sounds like a really fun game, really funny. Is Thank Goodness You're Here. I got that on Switch. And I don't know, you're doing like little odd jobs in a town or something. But it just sounds like really fun and random humor. I thought, sure, yeah, let's pick that up. And I kind of forgot about this, / they didn't tell me that it came out, just I was there, and they're like, oh, by the way, some stuff you pre-ordered is here. I'm like, oh, okay. But I got the Disney Afternoon Collection on Switch, which has a bunch of different games on there. You've got DuckTales 1 and 2, Chip and Dale 1 and 2, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, which we did a 3-way stop episode on Darkwing Duck, so check that out. The game made me rage, but it was still a pretty good game. I just hated it at the same time. if that makes sense. And Goof Troop on Super Nintendo, Bonkers and Tailspin. I don't know anything about those two games. I mean, I watched plenty of both. I mean, like, all these shows I watched as a kid, so these are pretty nostalgic. I watched DuckTales. I watched a lot of DuckTales. I watched some Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers before school in like first grade. Goof Troop, I watched a lot of Goof Troop. Bonkers, it was okay, but I remember enjoying it when I was like 5 or 6 or whatever. Um, yeah, but it has some really cool stuff here. I mean, for one, you've got a really nice like inner sleeve, but it's got a bunch of goodies in there. You've got, I'm gonna call them Pogs because I don't know what else you call them. But yeah, you got some Pogs. You've got some stuff in this little baggie here. So you've got a thing of stickers and more stickers. And you've got a little history thing. This is the box of Goof Troop, and it had a little bit of history about the Goof Troop video game that came out in 1993, as well as the Chip and Dale NES box, and it came out in 1990. And then DuckTales, the NES box, and it also came out. Oh, that came out in 1989. So that's probably the oldest one in this collection. Because I mean, Goof Troop was Super Nintendo in 1993, and I want to say that Bonkers was probably around that same era, 93, 94. I don't know for sure. I'm just basing it off of things. Like, it just felt like a later cartoon. Tailspin felt a little bit later of a cartoon. Now, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, that show, I know the show came out in the 80s. So yeah, the NES game came out in 1990, which obviously was still pretty relevant in 1990. But I want to say the show probably came out in like 1988 or something. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, really cool stuff. And yeah, there's just the whole package here, the teal green and the neon pink and all that, and the little zigzags and triangles and all that. I'm like, this feels 90s, and I love it for that reason. So I got both of those at GameStop. The big highlight of my pickups is that I visited the Limited Run Games physical location in Cary, North Carolina, the day before visiting Boxchan for his grand opening for his store in the Triangle Town Center Mall. So Friday night, I drove down there, visited the Limited Run Games retail store. Saturday, I visited Box's store, which I'll talk about that in the box video. But since we're talking about video games, figured I'd keep the bag because the bag was pretty cool. They gave me some little goodies like a sticker and some trading cards. Number 83 and number 84, I got 2 of each. Yeah, they both have the same back, but that's cool. And you're thinking, okay, what'd you actually get? You didn't just buy stickers and a couple trading cards. No, of course not. I know you guys are smarter than that. But what I did get was Overlord 2, So back in February, I learned of Overlord 1, not to be mistaken with the Overlord anime, which, very good anime. I almost did buy the Overlord anime Switch game, and I didn't. I had like $400 in my hand, and I couldn't buy all that, so I put like a lot of it back. But yeah, this one was pretty cool. Overlord on Xbox 360, so I guess you're continuing the story. You have your little gremlin guys, and you're, I don't know, taking over the world or something, I don't know. I also got the Persona 4 Arena. I don't know much about Persona. I only know Persona. I mean, obviously, it's a very beloved and popular video game series, but I did see the Persona 4 anime not too long ago, so at least I do know the characters in Persona 4. But yeah, it's a fighting game with the characters from Persona 4. So that's pretty cool. So I picked that up too. Now, I think I technically have this game loose. Yes. I do have Donkey Kong on Intellivision loose. I didn't know I had it, but that's okay. Because the reason why I bought Donkey Kong on Intellivision again is because it had the box. So the box is not in the best shape. That's kind of unfortunate, but this was, I think, I mean, it's made by Coleco, but the Atari version was also made by Coleco. Oh, wait a minute. Is that an instruction manual I see? Is this actually complete in box? Dude, this is actually complete in box. I actually didn't see the manual in there at first. But yeah, here you are seeing the manual for Donkey Kong for Intellivision. The only thing that it's missing for Intellivision would be the overlay that goes over the controller. So it's like technically complete in box, but not complete in box because it's missing that. But it is complete in box as far as it has the game, it has the manual. Because I actually didn't know it had the manual. So this came out in 1982. So this is before the NES came out. I want to do a video on some of these, like talking about like pre-Nintendo or pre-NES Nintendo games, because I have the Donkey Kong Atari game, and I guess now have 2 copies of the Intellivision Donkey Kong game. I wonder if ColecoVision has Donkey Kong, because I mean it was made by Coleco, as you can see here. So since it was made by Coleco, I wonder if ColecoVision has the Donkey Kong games. But as well as Donkey Kong is the original Mario Brothers arcade game, not to be mistaken with Super Mario Brothers, but just Mario Brothers, was also an arcade game, and I know that had a port on the Atari. I wonder if that had a port on the Intellivision as well. So I'm kind of curious about that, but I'd love to do a video about that, because I think that'd be kind of cool to talk about the pre-NES Nintendo games. I wonder if I would talk about the Game & Watch during that, because Game & Watch was like started in 1980, or at least like Mr. Game & Watch did. I do have a Game & Watch from like 1981 or something, 81, 82, something like that. It was a Donkey Kong Game & Watch game. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. For the Switch is Doom 1 and 2. It has the instruction manual as well. Has a really nice inner sleeve there of Doom 1. Both of them on the cartridge, which is really cool. I do have... So I remember a few years ago, I was looking for, like, what is the best console to play Doom on? Because I don't have... I mean, I'm sure nowadays you could play Doom on PC and it runs just as smoothly as it would have back in 1993, but I'm like, I want to play it on console because I prefer console over PC, but like every version of Doom, there's something that's keeping it from being the definitive version. Like PlayStation or Sega Saturn has like the best graphics, but it's missing the music. Whereas like the Super Nintendo version has the music, but it has a really bad frame rate. In fact, back in like 2012 or 13, I actually did get a boxed version of Doom. It's not complete in box because it doesn't have the manual, but it does have the tray, so that's cool. And I remember back in 2012, and I am disgusted with myself that I even had this thought for a second of like, what do I do with the box? I don't need the box. Should I just throw it away? And then I thought, no, I've never seen a Super Nintendo box before. That's really cool. And now I'm disgusted with myself that I even had the thought of throwing a Super Nintendo box away, even for a second. This is actually a really clean box. I just realized that. The sad thing is, like I said, the frame rate is so bad. I remember playing the first level of this game on the Super Nintendo, and I'm like, why do I kind of feel nauseous playing this? And I think it's just because the frame rate is so bad that, like, my eyes and my body are trying to add in extra frames that aren't there or something. I don't know. It was just like, this is smooth like butter. So, if you guys want to play it, this is, I mean, you can get it on Switch, you can get it on Xbox, you can get it on PlayStation, but, as far as console ports, I'd say the Switch version is the way to go. Now, as far as the retro, like I said, Super Nintendo and PlayStation and Sega Saturn and all that stuff, like, I don't know what the best port would be. I would probably just say in that case, stick with the PC version. Now, I've never played a Shantae game before, but here is a Shantae game on Game Boy Advance. The interesting thing is, this fills the gaps between the original and Risky's Revenge, which is like an 8-year gap. But this came out like in 2025. So this is kind of like a 1.5 or something. If you have like Risky's Revenge being like the sequel, then this would, I guess, be like a 1.5. The really cool thing, I learned this through Game Eye, and I'm like, oh, please make my version like that too. And I was so happy. Look how beautiful this is. A see-through purple cartridge, and you can see the limited run logo there. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I love the way this looks. Is there like a piece of plastic on the back there? No, I guess so, but it's not hurting anything. I'll keep it there. And it even has the limited run logo there. This just looks really nice. I've never played a Shantae game before, and I'm assuming I probably need to play the first one before I play that one. I don't know. But I just remember Shantae being a popular character back in the 2000s. Like, I knew who Shantae was, even though, like, I didn't know she was a video game character. I thought she was, like, a cartoon character. I'm putting air quotes there. I thought she was, like, an anime character. But no, she was actually a video game character. Is there a Shantae anime? There probably is out there, but, anyway, Shantae on Game Boy Advance released in 2025, and I told somebody that, and they're like, hold on, what'd you say? I'm like, yeah, a Game Boy Advance game in 2025, and they're like, how's that possible? But I do have a Crunchyroll game that was released on Game Boy Color that I got in 2023, which is also pretty crazy to think of a Game Boy Color game in 2023, but I talked about that in that video. Next, I want to talk about Plumbers Don't Wear Ties with a special anime girl artwork, and that kind of stood out as something unique. I mean, I would have gotten it if it had the regular case too, but I don't know. This kind of stood out as something interesting that it's the anime girl cover. But what's really cool here is it has a reversible sleeve. This is what the actual cover looks like. But I'm like, oh well, let's get the anime waifu one. Yeah, so this is a definitive edition remaster. Yeah. For the first time since 1993, the original version of the game is faithfully presented alongside 4K remastered photos and a wealth of documentary and interview content. So yeah, this is like a remastered version of the really bad Plumbers Don't Wear Tie that was originally on the 3DO back in 1993. And the game's bad, but it's like laughably bad. Like you play it because the game is so unhinged, and at times it's so not funny, and that's what makes it funny, and that's why it was so bad back in the day. And it's like, um, watch the Angry Video Game Nerd. He did a really good review back like 15 years ago. The Game Grumps played through it. But now I can play through it too. So if you guys want to see me play this on the channel, let me know, and we'll have some fun with just the chaos of Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Yeah, it's mostly just FMV, so you have like the main girl talking there, because that's the majority of the game is full motion video slash slideshow with words, like dialogue. Um, the last game I want to show off, I guess this is kind of the highlight of the pickup, is the Castlevania Dominus Collection on Switch. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Look at that sleeve. But I got, not only did I get that, it was in this big collector's edition. So what does this include? Well, for one, let's show this off. I actually haven't looked at this yet. There's a poster that was included. So, I don't want to tear it up. Oh. Well, that's nice. So yeah, it's a double-sided poster. So there's that. And there's that. That's cool. So I want to put that back in here. What else is in here? We also have the soundtrack with 35 tracks on there. That's really cool. And we also have additional covers, because this is just kind of the generic the generic outer sleeve. But what this includes is 3 different covers showing the 3 games that are in there. Well, I guess that being one of them. But we also have these 2 as well, so I can swap these out at any time, because they have the same back to them. But so basically, this game has 3 DS games ported to the Switch. So yeah, you can play Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia, as well as the Haunted Castle Revisited, which I think was like an arcade thing or something. So I'm assuming this is probably Dawn of Sorrow. I don't know for sure, but I'm just assuming that because that's the first one in the collection, or listed in the collection. I'm assuming the first one listed in the trilogy. I don't know. I don't know anything about these games, but yeah, I can swap out between that cover, this cover, and this cover, and I think that's really cool. So I'm going to put all of that in there. Okay. And yeah, I'll try my best to preserve that. I'll try to preserve that. I've got these guys out of their boxes. I already have a loose copy of that, so I can preserve that a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm pretty set on being able to preserve the good collectible stuff. But yeah, I got some really fun stuff here. Excited to show all that off. And if there's anything here that you want to see played on the channel, as always, let me know. I'll put it on the request list. It'll probably be some time before I get to it, though, whether that's because Fruit, Kaj, or Phoenix claimed one of these games, or just because I'm in the middle of uploading like Tomodachi Life, and I got Dead Rising 2 off the record I got to finish as well. So it'll be after those, and it's got to be something I can competently and confidently play and beat on the channel. Like, I'm terrible at platformer games. I highly doubt I'll be able to play Castlevania on the channel. Doom is probably going to be pretty difficult, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I got some cool stuff here I wanted to show off. So yeah, let me know if you want to see some of this played on the channel, and I will put that on the request list. Like I said, you will not be ignored. And yeah, that does it for this video. And this is probably it for my pickups in June. I highly doubt I'm going to have anything after that, but if there is, well, then here's the next section. Well, I thought I was done, but I went to GameStop, and I got 2 more games. None of these are going to surpass what I got at Limited Run Games, but whatever. I got Titanic Secrets of the Fateful Voyage on the Nintendo Wii. It's a point and click. And apparently it has like replay value because it says multiple endings, so that's kind of interesting. It's complete in box. I mean, the manual's kind of small, but yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, Titanic history is fascinating to me. So the fact that there's a Wii game that talks about the Titanic and it's $8, you know what? I'll take a chance on that. So I got that. And I got Arrowheart on PS5, which it more or less looks like a Zelda Link to the Past knockoff game. Especially that screenshot looks like it was pulled right from Link to the Past. So I'm kind of intrigued by that because it seems like a Link to the Past knockoff, which is probably going to be pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, I got those to finish off my pickup section. So let's move on to the closeout section of the video. If you like what you see, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified for when another video comes out, whether it is just more Tomodachi Life or Dead Rising 2 off the record, or if we finally get around to one of these games here, or something that's in the RGT, or in a previous unboxing video, or whatever it is. Subscribe so that way you know exactly when I upload it, so that way you guys can enjoy it as soon as it's uploaded. I also have a Facebook page where you can interact with me on there. If you don't want to on YouTube for some reason, you can on Facebook, or if it's a case of just scrolling through Facebook, you can see that Angry uploaded another video of whatever. Well, sure. Oh, that's cool. I also have an Instagram that I forget I have until I advertise it, which I need to do that. Because like the Game Boy Advance recently celebrated its 25th birthday, coming out in June of 2001. So I probably should have made a post about that on Instagram. And who knows, maybe I decide that I do by the time you watch this video. I don't know. But yeah, follow me on there anyway. And we'll talk about video games on there. But the most important thing is the Discord server, where we talk about video games and anime stuff, nostalgia, Pokemon stuff. We post memes. It's just a fun time. Small community, but I got a really great community, and we'd love to have you join us on there. All you got to do is just say, hey, I want to join, and I'll send you an invite. It is free, and we can have fun, hang out, nerd out together. And like I said, I'd love to have you join us. Anyway, that does it for this video, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.